Greetings everyone, Renfail here, and welcome to the channel if you are a first-time viewer, and welcome back if you are a returning viewer. Today we're diving into Star Wars: The Old Republic, once again, one of my favorite MMORPGs of all time, and we're talking leveling guide today. There are a lot of different ways that you can level up your character in Star Wars: The Old Republic, ranging from the class missions that are a part of your origin story, to world exploration quests, to flashpoints, which are instances that you can complete with other players, to the space exploration missions, which are kind of on the rails, sort of like an arcade environment where you can take your ship and go through these space encounters. There are lots and lots and lots of ways to level up your character, and it kind of depends on what do you want to get out of this game. Do you just want to do it by yourself and play through cool origin stories? That's awesome, because guess what? Each one of the base origins, or the base archetypes as they used to be called, have their own original 25-ish hours of gameplay through the base game, the old launch version of Star Wars: The Old Republic. So if you choose to be a Jedi Guardian, there's about 25 hours of gameplay there. If you just choose to be a bounty hunter, about 25 hours there. You get 4 different class stories each side, so there's 8 in total, giving you a couple hundred hours of just origin stories to go through, and those are 100% unique and original to each one of those individual origins. So as an example, I'm currently working on those with this particular character. You'll notice under the class here it says Operation Talon, and it currently wants me to use my ship's holo terminal. We're currently working on those, and those are clearly marked under the class section, but they also can be um, purple in the case of the class missions, but also the missions for the story are based in purple as well. We'll get into color-coded stuff later, but what you really need to know is that there's a ton of options. So no matter how you want to play the game, you can level your character up. And the next most important thing to understand is the difference between free-to-play versus the VIP subscription, because if you are a VIP player, you will get rest experience, which gives you an additional bonus. But even if you don't play VIP, as you're playing free to play, you're going to get these things right here, these complimentary major experience boosts, which last for around 3 hours, and they give you a 25% bonus. And as you play through the class missions, these easily allow you to stay ahead of the planets, because the way the scaling works these days, you're always going to be a few levels beyond the planet that you're going to explore, as long as you're running the experience boosts all the time. If you don't run the experience boost, you'll stay on level and you won't do any actual scaling, in which case you can run all these other missions to keep your level up to par. Now, when the game first launched, if you were to come to a planet like I did just now, to Tatooine as an example, you would get off of your ship and you would have your class mission for this planet, which would have you go do something. But as you would come out of the hangar here and head out into the city proper, which is behind me, you would notice 2 additional quest options here. One of which is the story arc for Tatooine itself, and the other one is Galen Besk, who has some other quest lines. Now, if you open up your map, you will see the filters over here. You'll see the different icons which represent different things. And you want to make sure that you have this exploration missions checkmark turned on. As you get close to things on the map, they will actually show up on the map. As you notice, this is an exploration mission to talk to Galen Beck. But you'll also notice that there are icons for repeatable missions, PvP missions, the mission objectives, mission areas, group missions, and then the various exit points to get into the different areas where you have mission objectives to complete. Now, if you don't want to run experience boosts, one of the easiest ways to level when you come to a planet is to take every single story arc mission you find. So you would come here, you would take the story arc mission for Tatooine, and you would do that in conjunction with your class mission. And back in the day, that was generally enough to keep you up to speed with the actual level requirements for the class missions. But you can also do all of these as you see fit. Now, if you've played the game a bunch like I have, and you've come to Tatooine many times on many different characters, you might not necessarily want to worry about doing the story arc, because the story arc is going to be the same for every single character that you bring to the planet. The same thing for the exploration quests. Those will be the same every single time you play through the game. What's different is the class missions, the origin story. Those are unique to each one of the classes. But when you get out here, you're also going to notice these mission drop boxes, which allow you to, if you haven't done them before, you'll be able to pick up missions here as well. And these will generally have they call them the +2 missions, but they are meant to be done with a couple of different players, but you can do them by yourself as long as you're extremely careful with your companion. But they're just bonus missions here on the planet itself that you can run through at your leisure. And you'll usually find those right outside of the hangar, usually at one of these mission drop boxes, which they're in different places in depending on where you are on the planet. But from there, you can pick up those. Sorry, and it was this right here, the daily heroic missions. This is what I was talking about. So you'll click on this, and you'll get your weekly heroic missions, and then all of these are the heroic ×2 or the heroic 2+, which means you can do them with 2 people or more here on Tatooine. Every single planet has these. So this is just another option if you want to come in and do quests. And you get some you'll get gear for these, 2 pieces of armor. Generally, these always give armor, and then if you have your weeklies, you'll earn additional points for doing that. Then there are flashpoints. There's a couple of ways to get flashpoints. One is you can just head to the fleet, and you can pick up the flashpoints in the mission areas of the fleet, which we can go do that here in a minute. But before we do, I want to explain the other way to take flashpoints. If you just want to group up with other players and you don't really care about the story so much, you can go down here and you can queue up for a flashpoint by just clicking the veteran flashpoints option here, join the queue, and this will put you into the group finder, the matchmaker, which will allow you to quickly travel to, it'll instantly teleport you to the instance, it'll scale the instance for you, and when you're done, it'll ask you if you just want to pop out where you left off, where you entered from there. There's also the PvP stuff, which I don't get into, so if you want to get involved with that, you can. And then there's these heroic missions, which you could do, the heroic flashpoints, which you can go in story mode, that you could just do straight from here if you want to. And then you can check out your lockouts tab while you're here. And there's a ton of stuff that you could do across the range of this game, as you can scroll down here and see. But what if you actually want to do the storylines for the missions? Well, you can actually go to the fleet, which we're going to travel to the fleet right now. And once we get to the fleet, we'll be able to go down to the missions departure area. You'll also find additional flashpoints on places like Ilum, which is sort of the post level 50 content when the game originally launched. There's more flashpoints on Ilum, and those are story-based flashpoints. But you'll see what I mean here in a second. We're going to go up to the fleet here as this is loading. Now, I've done some of these, so they might not actually show up as missions that are available from NPCs. But what I wanted to show you is the places you can get the missions as we load here. So we're going to continue loading. Please wait. Do 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 do. Wait, I should probably be doing the Cantina theme song as opposed to the Jeopardy theme song. There, you guys are good. You don't need any more of that. My off-key singing. All right, we are on the fleet now, and you'll notice that I've got all sorts of icons popping up on my map icon here. So we could run down here, and if we wanted to, for example, we could click here, and we would get some priority missions: introduction to group finder, introduction to PvP, tutorials on crafty trainers. You'll get additional rewards from running these. We can also go down here. Let's get on my trusty jetpack here. We're going to run around the corner, and you'll notice that there's a news terminal over here. Here's a stronghold commissioner. He's got a quest. Social missions. We already seen that quest. There is an NPC that's around here somewhere, and I got to find him real quick because I may have already done the mission for him, but I wanted to show him to you nevertheless. Macro binocular missions. We'll skip those. Dun, 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 dun. Flashpoint. So for example, this guy would typically have a flashpoint if you hadn't done it yet, or if you are in the light level range. He would have a story icon above his head to talk to do the flashpoint. Same thing with the Directive 7. Now, I've already done these flashpoints, so they're not going to have anything for me, but you would be able to run around and find these flashpoints at your leisure, and these have story missions associated with them. But you can also go down over here. By the way, here's one for Tyrrell 5 you could do. And then there's the news terminal. But we're going to go over here, and we're going to go down to the, I believe it is the Dropship launch hangar? I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, we might edit that out, but I think we're in the right place. Yeah, we're in the right place. So you'll go over here to the left or the right. There's terminals on either side, and each one of these terminals has missions. Here's a flashpoint for Hammer Station. Here's a flashpoint for Athos. Here's a flashpoint for Mandalorian Raiders. And if you were to click on this, you would get, which I'm not going to run you through all the dialogue, but you get a pop-up, and they give you a story reason for why you would be doing that flashpoint. You accept it, and you go from there. These can be done with other people, but you can also do them in story mode if you just want to run them by yourself. However, there's also the ship missions, which we can go to our ship and check those out real quick, because even though they are ship missions and you're flying around in space on the rails, those nevertheless provide you with adventuring experience, which pushes the level of your character up. So as you level up, as you complete the missions, you will level up your character as well. So we're going to go up here. Every character gets them. We've already picked one, and it's in my journal right now as the Space Combat Fondor Escort. And once you've picked one, but notice here, by the way, this right here, if I were to click on this, there are a ton of space combat missions. And your ship has armor and slots, just like your character does. So if you were coming here to your companion, you can look at your armor stuff here, but your ship also has armor and stuff as well. So if you're going to get into the ship-based combat, you are going to need to level up your ship, so to speak. Your level's always the same, but gearing out your ship in the various tiers of armor as you go through the missions. And if you wanted to do those missions, you would simply click on your galaxy map, and as opposed to flying to a planet, you would click here and say, I want to do the Fondor Escort, and it would tell you right here, recommended level of ship upgrades, any, because this is the very first one you would do. Now, as you beyond that, it's going to give you recommended level of upgrades, and it's going to tell you the tier of upgrades that you need to complete the missions. But these also give you experience points towards your actual character's level. So it's just another option to level up your character. So you have at your disposal, get out of my chair here, you have the class missions, which are represented by purple icons, and they're listed under the class section here. You have the planetary missions, also listed as purple, which show up underneath a planet name. Any sort of exploration quest you have on that planet will also be underneath the name of the planet. If you have any of the ×2 missions on that planet, the +2 heroics, those will also show up under the planet. And of course, if you have flashpoints, they will have their own unique flashpoint mission as well. So you can check all of those out at your leisure. But wait, there's more. There's also Conquest. Now, Conquest is another just sort of extra bonus thing, and you earn conquest points by just doing quests and going on missions and things of that nature. But you earn more of these if you are in a guild, and then there are guild objectives. So right now you have conquest objectives, which you'll notice down here. All of these objectives are things that I can do on my own. So activity finders, arenas, war zones, starfighters, missions themselves, stuff on Coruscant, all these different things like advancement, gain 5 levels, mission taskmaster, complete 10 missions. And every time you complete one of these, you earn conquest points, which go towards the progress bar here. And if you get to that 100,000 points, you get these rewards right here, which usually gives you some companion gifts, some coin, a cache of weapons, and then a minor class mission experience boost, which operates in the same way as the generalized major experience boost, but it only applies to your actual class missions as opposed to the whole kit and caboodle. So there you have it, everybody. Those are some of the quick and easy ways to level up your character. You get to pick. If literally this character right here, I have not done any class missions. Excuse me, I've not done any story missions. Matter of fact, I can actually delete this one for Quesh. And the reason I had to get the Quesh one is because you have to get an injection to go on to quest. You have to get vaccinated before you can go there, and it forces you to take that quest. But this character in particular, I have not done a single planetary mission. I have not done a single exploratory mission because I've done the planets multiple times over the years, so I'm not compelled to do those. However, I've never actually finished the Trooper storyline, so I've been going through just the Trooper missions, and then I wanted to pick up the Space Combat one just to show you what that was like. And we may actually do a Space Combat video for the channel, so stick around for that. In the meantime, if you've gotten to the end of this video and you liked what you heard here today, do me a solid. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so that you never miss an update when I'm talking about Star Wars: The Republic, when I'm live streaming, or when I do any of the other things that I do here on the channel, because I play lots of RPGs, MMORPGs, tabletop games. I cover films, books, TV shows, and so much more. So check out all the playlists, and if you can, and if you like what you hear today, support the channel, because this keeps me on the air full time. You can do super chats and stickers on live streams and premieres, super thanks on uploads and YouTube shorts. You can also join as a member. There's 3 different tiers if you want to do monthly options, starting with $3 a month. And we also have a Patreon page if you want to get involved with what I'm building with my wife and my brother. We have a point-and-click adventure game, a book series, and a tabletop campaign module series and source book and a whole bunch of other stuff. There's a Discord channel as well, so hopefully we'll see you there. Links are all down below. Until next time, safe adventuring, and may the Force be with you.